Flights out of Russia sell out after Putin orders partial call-up.
Here's a summary of the article.
A man looks at a flight information board at the departure zone of Vyanukovo International Airport in Moscow, Russia, December 30, 2020. Gdansk, September 21. One-way flights out of Russia were selling out fast on Wednesday after President Vladimir Putin ordered the immediate call-up of 300,000 reservists. Putin's announcement, made in an early morning television address, raised fears that some men of fighting age would not be allowed to leave Russia. Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said the call-up would be limited to those with experience as professional soldiers, and that students and those who had only served as conscripts would not be called up. Google Trends data showed a spike in searches for Aviasales, which is Russia's most popular website for purchasing flights. Direct flights from Moscow to Istanbul in Turkey and Yerevan in Armenia, both destinations that allow Russians to enter without a visa, were sold out on Wednesday, according to Aviasales data. Some routes with stopovers, including those from Moscow to Tbilisi, were also unavailable, while the cheapest flights from the capital to Dubai were costing more than 300,000 rubles, about 5 times the average monthly wage.
This post received a score of 56,000, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
How is the Kremlin spinning this? We need 300k troops to win even better than we already were. Don't worry, you'll get your sons and husbands back. Seriously, people's opinions change when it's no longer volunteers.
They are already spinning we are fighting all of NATO alone? Lines.
When the whole world is against you, the logical thing to do would be to think, wow, maybe I'm the asshole. Hopefully more Russians figure that out and someone takes care of their Putin problem.
No chance. Russia versus the world has been bedrock of Russian propaganda since the 1800s. Russian geopolitical paranoia goes way beyond Putin.
At least the message is getting across. Well, they did mobilize. Just not to the country Putin had hoped.
Back in the USSR, the easiest way to flee was a vacation to another eastern country where it was easier to bribe someone for passage further west where you just disappear. I know someone who did this. It totally burns any bridge back home, but maybe we're back to those days.
You know what does Belarus deport Russian draft dodgers? Go there.
Belarus is controlled by Lukashenko, who's a dictator that's propped up by Putin. He's loyal to Putin till the end because if Putin goes so does Lukashenko.
Typical leader from history. If we have a problem, the first solution to try is throw an overwhelming amount of human suffering at it.
The disdain Russian leadership has for Russians is palpable.
Nobody hates Russians like Russians hate Russians.
One of the reasons they prefer strongmen for leaders, apart from false memory of being scorned by weaklings instead, who supposedly sell the country for scraps, to the West, or outright hand it on a platter to whomever happened to want a chunk of it at the time, is because Russia has trained itself to not trust democratic processes because there is much discord on most issues between any two Russians in Russia, and that's because they don't trust each other. That's not conducive of trust between neighbors, and it was going on for decades. I could go on, but back to my point. Lack of trust in one another between citizens is the handicap Russia has been struggling with, often without seeing it themselves, on their way to a flatter society that I think will end up saving them from themselves. United Russia, it turns out, is a but of an oxymoron.
This is really well said. Just wanted to give the princes that fought the Mongols a little credit though. They all got crushed to death under a banquet table after they lost. They gave fighting a shot, but everyone quickly realized that wasn't going to work long term.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.